my friends, this is Jay, and I am back with the much awaited and anticipated Jay's new top-down sweater. I came on YouTube and, I had kind of a set agenda, but as my channel grew and people started growing with me, I had to just step out and stretch and learn new things. And people would ask me, well, can you do this and can you do that? And lo and behold, I find myself really enjoying stepping out now and learning new things. And I hope that many of you, in fact, I know that many of you are feeling the same way. And I just want to thank you right off the bat. Thank you so much. So now, I said new top down. This is not like the cardigans. My cardigans, I'm not going back and changing any numbers on those. People have worked them. They worked out fine. Look, nobody got a booklet when you first come on YouTube, how to do tutorials or how to do this. You look at other channels and, you don't copy, but you try to understand how things work. And if I could go back and redo them, yes, I would gladly go back and redo them and make them so much easier and simpler. But like I say, you don't get a booklet or a manual and you're just feeling your way. But this tonight starts a new chapter. I'm thinking I'm turning a page because I have just enlightened my own self on how things work and how you can knit projects. And I use stitch books and I've just learned so much. And I just want to share it and make it easy for you. So now when I left, we have a whole tutorial on this, calling it top down or bottom up start. I just finished the whole, I think it's a 3-part series on the bottom up. I didn't want to rush it, but I wanted to get as much in there. I tried to, move it along as quick as I could, but I wanted to make sure everything was in there. Just check my can. Yep, still on. And so here we are now. I find myself, we're ready to start the top down. This is the same ribbing, done the exact same way from the tutorial that started the whole thing. Starting with the ribbing. It could be either for the bottom of the sweater, if I wanted to come from bottom up and go up to the shoulder, like I just finished. Or tonight, as you're going to see, it's going to be top down. We're going to work this top down. Let me find the right side and put it back like it should be. We will be working top down as we work this sweater. All right, let me think of anything. So I'm going to go through and show you, of course, how to set up starting the top down, and then I'm going to show you the pattern, give you schematics that you will be able, in fact you saw them when the video started. I put them right on the front in the pictures so that you could pause the video and make screenshots of your particular size. And let me say this so that to help people. I work my sweaters and in a US number 9 or size number 9 needle. That's because at my age, I am now fluffier than when I started. When I started on YouTube, I usually use number 8s. Let me say this. If you are, say my size, but you are not fluffy and you don't have things wiggling and jiggling, you just have a nice, you're the exercise, you're the running type, you have a nice tight body and you don't have things flopping and or dropping and all of that, and you're not fluffy. You will be able to use the numbers that I have on the schematic. You pick the size that you're close to. You will be able to use and work it in a US number 8 needle. If you, like I said, if your body type is not fluffy and you like your clothes to have a closer fit, you are welcome to use a US number 8, or, number 8. I just say US, but any number 8. But you have to stay with number 4 weight yarn because that's what I work with and that's what I gauge my numbers and projects to. But if you are like me, you are on the fluffy side. You have wiggles and jiggles and stuff in the front. Please stay with the number 9 needles. It doesn't make it hang sloppy on you. It just gives you positive ease. It just gives us that little ease, especially since we are, at least I am, a lady of seasons, like I'm having one now. You know, we don't like our clothes tight anymore. I like to have them loose, but not baggy, not oversized. So right off the bat, before you even ask, I have explained it. Pick a size, pick a needle, but the yarn stays a medium weight number 4. Now that can be any quality. You can have your own yarn. You can spin it. You can throw it. You can raise a sheep. I don't care. You can do all of that. But just have it close to a regular, just a number 4 yarn that you can pull off the shelf and you can kind of measure it up to. Not real thin and not thick. Just in the middle. How about that? All right, does that answer questions before we start, before we get into technical stuff? All right, as you can see, here's my piece. This is the yarn that I use. I just pulled it out of my stash. Remember, I just used some Line Brand's Heartland yarn. I don't know what color, but I had enough skeins. I have 4 skeins of this, and it has pretty good yardage, 251 yards, and I had 4 skeins, so I thought I'm going with that. I didn't want to buy anything. I want to use what I have. I have a studio full of yarn and a back bedroom full of yarn. I need to try to get rid of some of the yarn. So now you know what yarn, what needles. All right, before we get technical, you've seen the schematic. All right, let me show you or kind of walk you through what we're going to do and give you a little idea of what's coming. Like, you know, the stitch and all of that. All right, back in just a minute. Okay, let's get technical for just a minute or so that you'll know exactly what I'm doing. All right, when I'm designing, all the schematic, all the numbers, and the style, the design, that's me. The stitches, I use stitch books and other, you know, just anything in the public domain that I happen to see that I like or like to share or I think will knit up or make a beautiful project. So I looked at my stash, and of course I've shared a review on this book before. This is Wendy Bernard's Up, Down, All Around Stitch Dictionary. And I got it off Amazon or somewhere. I don't see the Joanne sticker, so I think I got this one off Amazon. When I got it, I bought the second, both books. There's 2, but we won't worry about that one. We'll just talk about this one. So when they came in, I just numbered them so I would know which one I was working in. She didn't number them, but I had it. So for me, this is book number 2. Because it came in second, and I wanted to remember, you know, which books I was working in. You know, I work so fast sometimes. All right, so out of this book, so you can look and see, a lot of people have it. I see it when I watch other podcasts or other channels. I can see it on their shelf, so I know they know this designer quite well. All right, like I said, everything is mine except the stitch. So I want to show you the stitch that I found in this book that would just, I believe will work great. So it is on page, I think it's 207. Let's just see if I can, oh, yep, I find it. So here is the stitch. Since it is fall or autumn here, I'm here in the U.S. I'm in the state of Georgia. I'm northeast of Atlanta, and we can already feel the nice breeze coming in the air. It's still hot, but it does cool off, you know, in the evening, so we can get some relief from the hot flashes. And so as I was flipping through trying to find, there were so many to pick from, and I'm still not sure this is what I wanted, but then I kept working it up, and I'm going to show you in just a minute. I decided to go with it. Her title is Gothic Leaves. Now, it may be listed as another name somewhere else or just by number, but it's a very well-known pattern. It's very friendly. You can find it in public domain in lots of stitch books, but that's what she calls it, and that's what, you know, reason I'm showing you, making sure, because I'm going to work from the chart. I'm going to show you in just a minute. But for those who say, oh, Jay, I'm just not, you know, I was doing pretty good, but the chart, okay, this has the written pattern. So if you have the book, you can get it off Amazon. If you have the book, then you can just work, but I would not be printing out this whole thing. That's just not cool. So I'm going to work from the chart, and because it will go faster, and like I say, I'm trying to get you in for more charts. But there's a stitch. I want to show you, like I said, the sweater is mine, but the stitch I got out of her book, out of this particular book. But if you don't have this book, you can find it anywhere, any public domain stitch book. All right, so now let me show you the chart real quick. Now here's the chart. In fact, I guess I need to take it out of the cover because it might reflect too bad. Okay, so here's the chart. I had already had it enlarged, so when I get ready to actually work it, you will be able to see and work along with me. But there is a chart, and I will make sure you get a good screenshot of it before I mark it all up. Okay, now in this chart, most charts you can kind of see the design, but this one was a little hard, I guess, because the leaves in the Gothic leaf pattern, some leaves go up and others come down. They come up and down, just like that. One goes up and the other one comes down. So you don't really get the feel of it. So let me show you. I've already knit up a sample that we will be using. And then I will do a tutorial later. You know, one of my stitch tutorials. I will put this stitch in a stitch tutorial in case you want to double back sometime and come back and do it, because this would make a great fall afghan or a fall throw in a heavier yarn. Now let me check my camera, see if that's showing up before I move it around too much. Okay, now let me hold it up. Okay, can you see the leaf motif or the, see it? So this is only 8 stitches plus 1, and it's only 13 rows, and half of them, of course, are purl rows. So it is it looks like it's real complicated, like you're gonna have to do a lot of work, but it's very easy, and the chart is easy to read. You can see how clean it is, how everything stands out. You're gonna love this. Now on the sweater, say we're working top down, we're gonna work all the way down. We're not gonna add the lace until we get to the bottom of the sweater. So we're gonna just be working pretty much, just doing increasing and, regular. This will be worked in stockinette, knit on the front, purl on the back. And then as we get near the bottom of the sweater, then we will come and do the lace. I wanted to just give you a break. I didn't want to get right into it. But, Jay always has a but. I decided I'm trying so hard to get you to look at charts for more than what they are. When you see this chart, look at it. Okay, when I saw this chart, the first thing I thought about, well, sweaters. Remember about the button band? I try to find a stitch. Just like when we worked out of Melissa Leitman's book, I tried to find stitches already in the chart that I could use or isolate. And I have isolated one of the, I'm not going to show you right now. I want you to just kind of look at it and guess first. So I have isolated a stitch that we're going to add as a beautiful decorative button band coming down the front on each side until we get to the bottom of the sweater, and then boom, voila. We will go into full pattern mode, and it fits right in. You're going to see how it just fits right in and flows with the pattern at the bottom. So what do you think of that? I'm excited. I hope you get excited. So there's nothing to do now, but let's do some stitching. All right, let me clear this up. I think I've covered the technical stuff. So let's start stitching. Back in just a minute. All right, when I left, you were to do your ribbing from the ribbing tutorial. Now see, this is so nice. All I had to say is, and you were, supposed to work it for 7 rows, and meet me back at row 8. Row 8 is the right side, and here it is right here on my sample 1x1 ribbing. Okay, now I don't have to repeat that. It's all there for you to do. So now once we get to row 8 on this sample or my sweater, I am going to simply knit every stitch across, because we have knits and purls, and this just cleans everything up and get all the stitches on one accord. So all we have to do now, once we get to row 8, the right side, is knit across all the stitches all the way to this end, and then when I turn the work, now I didn't have this one marked, but because we're going to do it in stockinette, so you will know right away when, but just for instance, I got it so that you'll know this is the wrong side, and all you have to do, I want you to knit back. I don't want you to purl back. I want you to knit back. So you knit on the front side, and then on this row on the wrong side, just knit back, and I will see you again on the right side. All right? Real easy to start. All right, back in just a minute. Oh, you will need some markers too. All right, so we knit across the right side of the work, and then we knit back on the wrong side. Now I'm on the right side again of my 1x1 ribbing, and so now we're going to put in some markers because we're going to knit again. So you will need at least 4 markers of the same color. These markers represent where my increases will fall on the sweater. I like to have them all the same color so that I will know to increase for those in those places. Then maybe 2 extra markers so that we can mark the front border and the button band that goes there. So that's just some markers that I have. You can have any color you want, whatever. All right, now you're going to decide or pick out your schematic, because we're going to knit from the schematic that you feel that you're closest in size to. I represent the 1X to 2X, so my whole band here, my whole 1x1 garter stitches, not garter stitches, I lost my train of thought, my 1x1 ribbing, I have 96 stitches plus that one extra, 97, so that I could do the 1x1 ribbing. You know, we have 1 extra stitch, and here's my schematic again for the 1X to 2X. Alright, so now we're going to start separating, as we knit around again, we're going to knit on the right side, but this time we're going to add markers. And you see the designated places. I have 20 stitches in one front and 10 for each sleeve, or represent there, and then I have 36 for the back. That makes sense? Alright, so all we're going to do is knit and count using your schematic. Alright, so let's go. This should be nice and easy and simple to do. So the first thing I want to do, I'm going to knit 20. I don't think I need to put, I just couldn't remember if I'm supposed to put in my, I don't think so. I think it's on the next row. I got a lot of things going on. So it's just easy to go ahead and get this in here. Just to get you started, and then so you just simply start knitting, and then start counting from the first stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19, 20. Always count twice. You will count everything twice. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Then add your first marker to represent where we will make increases. And then my sleeve is 10 stitches. So I will simply knit around. Two, 4, 6. Always count twice so that you see. Here we go. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. All right. 4, 6, 8, 10. Then you'd add the next marker. All right, now continue around, and I will see you when you get around to this side. I'll come back and see where we go from there. All right, I thought I better come back real quick before you got to the end, just to remind you of something. How many of you remember that we have one extra stitch every size so that we were able to do the 1x1 ribbing? Remember, we have that one stitch. You can take it out. I just normally let it ride, but I always include it in the back section right here. So for me on my schematic, I should have had 36 stitches, and I'm going to go ahead and include that one extra stitch, so when I do my count, it'll be 36 plus 1. So yours should be the same. You would get whatever the back of your sweater is plus 1. Now if you went past it, because some of you are really speedy, well then just tink back and just knit back a little bit and move that marker and put one extra stitch back on this side of the marker and put the marker back and just knit right on. So now I'm just knitting up. I've got that one stitch and I've counted twice, so instead of 36 I have 37 in the back. And now the second sleeve is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So now I can add my next marker. And then I can just go ahead and count this. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. That's what my schematic calls for me to have on each side, each front. So now I can just continue to knit across. But I thought I better come back real quick before you got all the way across and forgot where you'd come out and you say, oh, Jay, I got one extra stitch. Remember, it's that one stitch that we add so that we can work the 1x1 ribbing flat. I need an odd number. So now I'm just knitting across to the end. And then I can go ahead and show you. Okay, we're on the front. So now let's go all the way to across. Because I think I need to start the button band on the next right side row. That's where I wasn't sure. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So now I just finished knitting across, putting my simple markers in place with that one extra stitch in the back. Now, when I turn the work, I went ahead, had a little mark here. I'm going to knit all the way back. Just knit all the stitches. Then we will be ready to start our button band and our increases. Does that make sense? So I will see you knit back on this wrong side, and I will see you again on the right side row. Alright, so now we have added all our basic stitch markers for the sweater, where the increases will go. We have a front, a sleeve, a back, and the opposite sleeve, and the front. Alright, so now and we're on the front of the sweater, so now I want to find a button band. I'd like to try to go ahead and add that so that, just saves a lot of time when you're done with your sweater. You don't have to go back and try to pick up. And you know, since I've been, trying to share with you how charts work and the benefit, so first thing I do is look at the chart that I'm working from. And right off the bat, while I'm working, when I was working that little sample I shared with you, I noticed, okay, these rows are the same. I thought, well, that would make a good button band. And so I counted them, and I looked, there's 9 stitches. And I'm going to add like a 3-stitch border. And it just made good sense, because once the lace that we're going to add to the sweater is not to the, it will be at the end or the bottom area of the sweater. So if I do this lace band and just work down, it will just automatically become part of the lace on the bottom of the sweater, because I'm working this exact same chart. Same stitches, same rows, everything. So I thought, well, that's a good idea to stay with that. So this is it right here. I just highlighted just one row, row 13, because it was the last row. And with my 3 stitches, it will be a total of 12 stitches for everyone, everywhere, for your button band and your little 3 stitches on the edge. Does that make sense? Alright, so now let me show you how it will look. Alright, you're going to need some markers, and I'm going to use a bunch. I'm going to use some white ones just so they'll just pop out, stand out. Alright, we'll need some markers so that once we start, and also we will start increasing. Now let me tell you before I start, because sometimes when I'm working, it's hard to see what I'm doing. Okay, so right here, this is the front. The increase for the sweater will be made 2 stitches before this marker on the sweater. 2 stitches before this marker, I'm going to do a yarn over and knit 2. Then I'm going to slide this marker, and just like on the charts we were working, we're going to do a yarn over in the sleeve. This is the sleeve. Do a yarn over, knit all the way across. When I do the last stitch right here, right before the marker, I'm going to yarn over again. So that's 2 increases inside the sleeve. Now once I do that, I slide the marker. I'm going to knit 2 in the sweater. This is the back of the sweater now. I'm going to knit 2, then yarn over. And work all the way across. I thought if I just said it first. Work all the way across up to this marker. This is still the back. So when I work up to 2 stitches before the marker, I will yarn over, knit those 2 stitches, slide the marker. Once I slide the marker, I'm in the sleeve. See it? So I will simply yarn over, knit all the stitches to the last stitch, knit it, then yarn over, hold it in place, slide this marker. Now I'm in the sweater again. So I need to knit 2, yarn over, and knit on across. Putting in our band and all that button band. But I thought if I walked you through the increase, just showing, just so you can see exactly where it will fall. Once we start working, it won't be so hard to see and to keep up with. Now, it is humid, so I have to keep my little hand towel here. Alright, so I think that's it. So let's get started. I even made just a small little right up here so that I could see it up close, or you could see it as we're doing it. Of course, it's on the, I have it on the intro pictures so that you can make a good screenshot, but we'll just let Bird be a part of the action here. Let's see if Bird's on. Yeah, here we go. And I'm going to get ready to work, and I do have my markers and you have yours. And the first thing we want to do, check one more time, see if that's in there. Okay. Now the first thing I want to do is set in my little border. Everyone, everywhere, we're going to knit the first 3 stitches. We will knit those stitches right here. We're on the right side now. We're done with the little neck area. Now we are beginning the sweater. So 1, 2, and 3. That's my little edge, my little border to keep the front edge straight. I'll do it on both sides. Now I'm going to put a marker now. Now I'm ready for the button band, which is our little chart right there that Bird's going to hold for us. Alright, let me just kind of read it for you. Alright, it's simply knit 1, knit 2 stitches together, knit 1 again, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, slip, slip, knit, and end with the knit 1. That's just for the button band. So let's go ahead and do that. Oops, I dropped my mark. Let me put it back on. Alright, it says knit 1, knit 2 stitches together, now knit 1 again, then a yarn over, knit 1 that will be in the center, then yarn over, knit 1. Now traditionally you slip, slip, turn your needle and reach back and knit those 2 stitches together, just like that, and knit 1. And let's count those stitches. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, and 1 is 9. So 9 stitches in the button band. Then I have my 3 little border stitches just to keep the edge nice and neat. I'm going to grab a marker and put it on. That's my button band on this front of the sweater. Now I want to start, I call it going up. I'm going to start towards my first increase marker right there. I have them all the same color, so I know that I'm going to increase on this side and this side. So I need to go up to 2 stitches before the next marker. So I simply knit 2 stitches, just like this. There's 2 stitches. Now I'm going to yarn over, knit those 2 stitches. 1, 2, stop. Now I slide the marker. Now I'm in the sleeve, the first sleeve right there. So as soon as I slide this marker, I'm going to yarn over. Now I simply knit across to the end marker for the sleeve, just like this. All the way, knit all the stitches. When I get to the last stitch, stop. Now remember to make the last yarn over, like we've been working in the shawl. I thought it would be great muscle memory. So yarn over, slide the marker. Now hold that yarn over in place, because on this side, this is the back now, on this side in the sweater, I will need to knit 2 stitches and then make the yarn over. So I have the marker, hold that yarn if you need to, yarn over right there. Now knit 1, 2, stop. Now this is where you do your yarn over. There's the increase for the back. And you start across the back, working towards the other side. Just like this. I'm going to just take my time and get this all on here, because after this, it's nothing but repetition, just because we're not putting any other lace at the top of the sweater. We're going to save it to the bottom. I thought that would be something, you know, just a little different than what we normally do. It's hard to find stitches, you know. The only thing top down, you have to try to find stitches that will work if you don't have a stitch that someone has figured out or given you a top down version. So this stitch seemed to work, will work fine, because the leaves are going in up and down. They're going in 2 different directions. So I'm hoping that it will work. I've seen it done in throws and blankets, and there was always, or leaves going up and down. So I thought I'll give this a try. And once I start knitting it, it's so easy. It just looks so complicated. But you can see how simple the chart is. And then this is, like I said, the last row, and I thought that'd be a perfect button band. All right, I'm just knitting just so that I have it on here. So now I can see. So you have to kind of talk yourself through maybe the first time around, just to get used to where things go. So, all right, I'm coming up to the last marker for the back. I want to stop 2 stitches before that marker, right there. All right, I'm going to do the yarn over, then knit the 2 stitches. 1, 2. Now, when I slide the marker, I'm in the sleeve. This last sleeve on this side. So I need to yarn over, now knit all the way to the next marker. Just like this. So you just keep knitting over, knit every stitch in the sleeve. We're not putting any design in the sleeve. Enough sometimes. Too much is too much. So there we go. I knit the last stitch, stop. Now I need to make a last yarn over, slide the marker. I'll stick my needle in so I can hold this yarn over on this side. On this side, since it's a sweater and a front, I need to knit 2 stitches, then yarn over. So I hold that. Now I'm going to knit the next 2. 1, 2, then the yarn over. That's the increase. Now I'm going to knit just a couple of stitches so I can stop. Alright, so now I need to make the button band on this side. So this is how we're going to do it. When you, I will not be flipping stitches. I'm going to use it just like it is, and I'll show you in just a minute. I should have showed you first, but I just forgot. Alright, so here's 1, 2, 3. So I know I'm going to have the 3 for the border. Then I'm going to count 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, 9. Alright, so I need to knit 4 more stitches here on my. Then I always just count twice. Don't hurt. I have my 3. 1, 2, 3. And then 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Knit 1 more. Now I'm going to put a marker, so I'll know this is where the button band starts. I'm going to knit it just like I knit it on the other side. I'm not going to flip it. Like I said, I'm going to show you the sample. It looks fine, so why make more work than it needs to be? Okay, so here we go. I knit 1. Then I knit 2 stitches together. Then I knit 1 again. Don't forget that one. Sometimes you want to forget that one. Then do a yarn over. Then there's a knit 1 that will be right in the center. Then a second yarn over. Knit 1. Then there's a slip, slip, reach back and knit it. Just like that. Sometimes I do just knit 2 together through the back loop. Slip, slip, and knit, but I wanted to show you the traditional way. And then in the band with a knit 1. Count your stitches. 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So I put the marker. There's the button band right between my 2 white markers. Now these last 3 stitches, everyone everywhere, we just knit them just to keep a nice edge on the front of the sweater. So now this way I have gone through the complete increase, where the increases will fall, how they look. I have the wrong side marked just in case if you were curious. Now I know a lot of you don't like the yarn over increases, but this is so hard sometimes to see if you made the increase. This way, at least, it's very noticeable. You will know right away if you missed a yarn over once we, keep working and work down. So that's why I try to encourage you to do this one. But there will be times when we, of course, stop and use other. See, right here, you can always check to see if you have those yarn overs in the right place. Alright, now let me just get the little sample, which I should have showed you first, share it with you. But now you can get an overview of what we're doing and how it looks. I'll move the bird back now. Alright, hold on, I'll be right back. Alright, right before I show you the sample, once we finish that right side and you turn the work, of course you're on the wrong side of the work. And just a reminder, all you have to do is just, you knit the first 3 stitches, then yarn in front, and you're going to purl all the stitches. This is such an easy sweater to make. You're just going to purl. Just take your time, for the speed people. Just take your time that you don't lose any yarn overs and cause yourself a lot of headache that's unnecessary. Some things in life are necessary, but this is not one of them. So you just come around, and you see as you come up to where you've done all those long yarn overs for the increase, see that one could just easily just slip off or something. So what you want to do is just make sure you take your time, make sure you pick it up, and you're just purling all the stitches until you get to the end border. On the 3 stitches at the end, you put the yarn in back and knit everywhere, just knit those 3 stitches. I just go to the end here since I had already started. Then I'll show you what you should have, what the band will look like, what you're going to have as you start to knit down this sweater. And then I'll give you some more information. Oops. Just take your time, pull some yarn out. Let me just go all the way to the end now. I don't want to lose any yarn over myself while I'm talking. And go, oops. Okay, and just go all the way. Oh, my yarn is splitting or something. There we go. Very humid under these lights. Now I'm up to the last marker, so I know that's my border. So yarn in back, slide the marker, knit those 3 stitches that represents the little border in my edge. Now I am finished, and here's the neck line there. Now I need to get on a longer needle now, or as it grows. Now this is, a lot of you have said that you have even bought some longer needles. If you're going to knit sweaters and shawls with me, try to, when you can. I don't have a problem. I buy a lot of needles, but some people just, I don't know, they just have a few. I don't know. But you can kind of see how things look. It doesn't look, it will. You may not see how it's going to look because it's all on this smaller needle, but you will. Now let me go over here, let me pull this sample up so that as you start to knit down on it and on every right side row, here is, now I'm going to move this one, here is the little sample of your button band. Now let's turn it like it's like, so you can see it. Here is the little button band. Alright, I have my 3 stitches on the front, my little edge stitches right there. Then between my white markers there, you can see there's a simple little 9 stitches for a button band, in other words. And you probably won't put buttons on here, but that's what we call it, the button band, right on the edge of the sweater. And then of course it's, you knit on around when you get on the right side to this side. Like I said, I did not flip. I didn't think, I think it was just fine like it is. I have my button between the white markers. I have those 9 stitches. You see how it looks. And then I end with a knit 3 right on the edge. And I will now start to knit down the sweater, putting the little button band, putting my little simple easy chart that I took off the big chart. You know, why spend time looking for something else? Now, you're going to be working. Your homework is to just start working. You're just working down. Now, that's what I wanted to do, is get this on tape and let you see how to make the increases, and I took my time. All right, now, the first measurement that you need, that we're going to be concerned with, is your sleeve measurement. And I don't want to go through that on this video, because that's there's a lot of knitting in between that. I will come back. We're going to start knitting, including myself. I got to knit my sweater too, people. I don't have one finished. Okay. So I will come back on the next section, or part 2 of this top-down video, as we draw closer to the sleeve. And then we're going to talk about the sleeves and how to kind of come up with measurements for the sleeve, because I have to kind of guesstimate. I can use myself, and then I kind of can guesstimate the smaller size and the larger size just by practical use of math. But everybody's body's different. So we will, so you just keep working, and you'll see your increases, how many increases you're working towards in your particular schematic. You've got 24 for the smaller size, 24 increases. That means you're going to be working 24 increases. And then I'm in the middle. I think mine is 26, and then the larger sizes are 28. But I will be back. Just don't go, don't go like you're trying to get to the end of the sleeve. Just work and stop. And then I will join back with you to show you what I have. And then we'll talk about the sleeve and try to share with you how to always know, or to find a sleeve count that will work for you. I just use the same number all the time. See, because I'm just used to it, a sweater. My best sleeve number is either 60 or 64. If I get over into 68, it's too long, because this sweater comes over. It's not way up at the shoulder. It comes way down here. So you don't need that many stitches, but I won't get into it tonight. I'll start to get into it. We have enough to do. We have enough to knit. We have our button band. So now I want to wish you happy knitting. Take your time. And then I will see you in the next part. All right? Happy knitting. Well, my friends, I know I was done with the video, and I am, but I just wanted to do a last minute just check-in time with you. Just for those people who say, no, okay, Jay, am I doing this right? I wonder if I'm doing it right. So this is just a check-in with you, because I'm knitting this in real time along with you. So let's go through the checklist real quick, just so that you can see if you're on course. I don't want you to waste your time and then thinking, oh man, if I just known, or I wouldn't have gone that far. All right, so let's just take a little minute here. All right, first of all, here's the front of my sweater, and you can see, first of all, I have the little area that we're calling the button band. It's just the front of the sweater. You can use it and put buttons on it if you like. That's the stitches off the chart. And I have it on both sides, so it's pretty much a mirror image. Looks real nice. It's part of the same chart that we will be working when we get to the bottom of the sweater. We will be working this same chart. So you're already going to be familiar with part of it. But that's on down. Now we are working towards the first measurement that we want to look for or work with is the sleeve measurement. And I'm going to go into that in part 2. I'm just doing a checklist right now of things, how things should look, and how hopefully you're working things in the right way. Alright, so now let me turn the sweater over and let me see, can I get this side? Maybe I can get this side on camera. Okay, now let me spread it out, and let's just see how that looks so that you can get a good view. And I can come in just a little bit. Alright, so let's go again just to let you see what you should have as you start knitting down. Here's the back of my sweater, and as you are knitting across, I guess I could have gone the other way. Well, we'll do, let's try it this way, the way I'd be knitting, the way you would be knitting. That way it won't be confusing. Now let me check again. Okay, that's good too. Alright, so let's go again. So we have our button band, and then we knit. Here, the hardest thing you'll have on this sweater is just remembering where you are on the sweater. You know, if you're a fast knitter and you just kind of lose concentration and, whoa, Alright, this is sweater. This is the part of the sweater right here. This is the sleeve. This is the front of the sweater. The sleeves I keep separate, you know, in my mind. Here's the back. That's back of the sweater. Alright, so I do the button band, and we move up, and as I get towards where I know I see the first marker, which will separate the front from the sleeve, I knit up to 2 stitches before that marker. I do a yarn over. Can you see it? I do a yarn over, knit these 2 stitches. When I slide the marker, I am now in the sleeve. And it's important that you remember when you're in the sleeve. As soon as you slide the marker, then you yarn over, like we were working on the charts. This is the way, once, I'm telling you, that book enlightened me so much. And it reinforced a lot of good habits that I'm going to try to use. So this is pretty much a good increase for me on these Raglan sweaters. We don't have to do yarn overs, but just to move up 2 stitches before the first marker, yarn over, or whatever, or knit into the front and back, or whatever stitch we're going to do. Then as soon as you slide the marker, you need a yarn over to increase it. Knit all the stitches, except if we're putting something in the sleeve. We're not. We're just knitting all the way across, knit all the way to the last stitch, stop. Remember, on the chart you had to begin and end with a yarn over, so I put a yarn over right there, right before this marker. Now when I slide the marker, stop. This becomes the back of the sweater. I need to knit 2 stitches right there, 1, 2, then make the increase, the yarn over for this one, and then just knit on across till I come to the second back marker. Here's the back still, and here's the marker that represents where it stops. 2 stitches before the marker, I do a yarn over, then knit those 2 stitches. I slide the marker, and guess what? I'm in the sleeve. I have to start and end the sleeve section with a yarn over. And then that's how, I just want you to get used to it. I want you to check in with you. I want you to see, because when it's, you know, when you first get started, you're kind of like, okay, now wait a minute, now what did she say? Where was I? Was I supposed to be on this side? So I thought I'd do just a check-in, because I want to, you to be able to just get a hold of this right away, because we're going to just repeat it in all the sweaters. Like I said, but we can change the yarn overs. You don't have to do yarn overs all the time. Get the camera, sorry. You can do other increases, but this is a basic one to learn and watch. There's so many benefits. If you're not sure if you got all your yarn overs, you can count. 1, 2, you can count the little eyelet, see? It lets you know that you have taken care of all the yarn overs. And then plus, it matches your button band. Gives a little match to that. I'm trying to think of anything else. Okay, so like I said, now we're working down, and I will be back in part 2 way before you get to the sleeve, you know, and we'll go over numbers, and I'll try to try to share with you a good way for you to figure out a nice sleeve, and we'll see. We'll go from there. I gave you some numbers that you saw in the pictures on the schematic, but you can even you know, find your own numbers for your sleeve, and it might be a better number than I have. But I'll walk you through all that when we come back on part 2. So, this is Jay and Bird. Wanting to come in and do a little check in just so that you can see if you're on course. And I just think if you take your time and follow me step by step, you will do just fine. So, second time, bye-bye. Happy knitting, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.